Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting for February 1st to order. I'm Steve Havey, your committee chair. To start off, we'd like to have a roll call, please.
Mr. Havey.
Here.
Mr. Sear.
Here.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mr. Demick.
Here.
Mr. Healy.
Here.
Mr. Rumfelt. Mr. Stockin.
Here.
Mr. Harris. 6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. I'm going to need the approval of the minutes for January 4. A motion, please.
So moved. Demick.
Thank you. And a second.
Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Up first, we have Mr. Brian Perkins, Stop DWI Coordinator. Mr. Perkins, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me again. You have my report, so a couple things on there. The Traffic Safety Board did meet again. We had our usual discussions, so hopefully those continue to go as productive as they have been. But the meat of this report is really in kind of this transition thing that we're starting to talk about here. So the Victim Impact Panel is scheduled for February 21st, and I did meet with Probation Department, Scott and some of his staff members to look at how we're going to transfer that over to their operation. So generally, the plan is that my department's still running the show for this one here, and then in May in that one, they'll take over the ownership of it, and they'll run it, and I'll kind of be in the background shadowing and answering any questions they have along the way. During the course of those, we kind of had a chance to talk about what we were doing with the rest of the program, and Scott and I put a date of our own. I know it's completely unofficial probably for the two of us until we meet again. I know we do have another meeting coming up about it, but May is when we're looking to be able to start handing things over a little bit more.
Excellent. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Perkins? Seeing none, I believe you have an MOE.
Yep, this one's for some monies that came in last year, and it is for a program. Those funds come in and they overlap 2 years. So it was originally set for last year. We wanted to move it over into this year and just set things up real nice for this year to be able to operate efficiently. So.
Okay. Need a motion on that, please?
Stockin moves.
Thank you. And a second?
Demick will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is carried.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Carter, sir. Public Defender's Office.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
I'm a little saddened because I don't have anything exciting to talk about. I realize my department's kind of boring after I hear about the dozers and the bridge building. So with that said, no MOEs. I'm just going to rest on the report submitted for this month and get ready, I guess, for the annual report next month. Any
All right,
questions?
that's excellent. Any questions for Mr. Carter? I do have to comment, sir, that reacting to a question from Legislator Healy last time, I noticed you brought us some information.
Yeah, a lot of numbers.
Well, you know, and I was looking at this, and it's going to take me, I don't know, 90, 180 days to analyze this. But this is excellent stuff, and this is exactly what was asked for, so I appreciate you giving that to us. This is, let me see if I say this right. No, I'm not going to be able to say this right. Tell me exactly what this is called, this study.
The one from that we didn't do, it's part of it is our local numbers, but then there was another
reform.
report done by another, I don't know, non-for-profit agency that's connected
Yeah.
with a college, and I just thought because it was very informative to the question asked
No,
that
very
I
good.
provided, so no one has to look for it.
Yep, 2020 bail reforms in action in New York State. So it's excellent. Thank you for putting that together. I do appreciate that.
No problem.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Healy.
Boring's not bad,
Yeah, but the dozers and all that sound fun.
but is there anything you wish to highlight in all that information?
Only that I wish we could be more successful. People are still going to jail, huh? But that's the way the system works. So we can't save them all. Some people are in jail pre-trial detention, as based on some of the charges. Some would say it's deserving. But my goal is to try to keep them out, and I think we're achieving our mission of trying that by showing up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, Mr. Jeff Lucky, sir. Office of Emergency Management and Fire Service.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Had a request to replay the video that was created during our junior firefighter camp that we had, and I brought Matt Cummins here along too in case there's other questions I can't answer. So, Brenda, if you could play that, please.
Okay. Yeah, kill some of the lights.
20 years ago, we had about 2,000 firefighters in EMS. Currently, right now, we're down around 1,000 people. The junior firefighter camp was trying out to bring in 16, 17-year-olds that currently were involved in the fire department and see if we can spark interest in them, give them a big introduction, and hopefully that'll lead for them joining their local fire department.
Recruitment is very difficult unless you can get a big group of young people. Young firemen bring more young firemen. So if you can get a few, like we're hoping to do today, they will bring more of their friends in. First thing this morning, they learned what the turnout gear is and how to put it on. And then they went from there, learned how to open doors and windows with the use of hand tools. And then a little competition, friendly competition, to see who would get dressed in the gear the fastest.
My favorite part was when we all got in line and raced to put all our gear on.
So right now they're in class, they're learning about the interior firefighting, the air packs, and some of the difficulties being inside. And then following that, we'll actually get in the gear, go out and learn how to deploy hoses and nozzles and play with some water and have some competition out there as well.
My dad was in the fire department in Bushbury, Roxbury, and my grandpa was in the Army. My future goal in life is to fight wildfires out in California or out west. I want to help people and save people.
Today's an amazing event for these youths. In the bigger counties, they have programs like this all the time because they have the people to support it. The small counties throughout New York State, even throughout the country, you know, it's tough. You got to really get somebody behind you to support you to do this. And this program today has been phenomenal.
We've gotten to see kids from different communities come together, and they're interacting very well with one another for not knowing each other. And they are very excited to get the gear on and get their hands on some stuff and learn something new.
I think this is a great recruitment idea. Not only does my private business support it, but I also give it my time. I think they do a lot of great things. There's a lot of great speakers today, and I'm very thankful for the turnout that they got.
I think one of the biggest qualities that we look for is willingness to serve. There's countless times when the pager goes off in the volunteer service, the pager goes off and you leave your family. You know, you got to have that commitment to the fire service to be able to do that.
We will be here to support this in the future. There's no doubt. I think it's a great thing. It's an opportunity. We look forward to more people showing up and being part of this to get those kids out here and get a hands-on feel of what it's all about.
So get a hold of your local fire department. Contact your fire chief, contact any of the members. They'll be able to point you in the right direction and make that step to serve your community.
Appreciate the opportunity to teach these young kids, and we'll see them soon, I hope, as a full-fledged fireman.
Excellent.
Of course, I want to give credit where credit's due. Jeff Babbitt was one of the team members, and Jeff did all that video for us. Just wanted to update a couple things, and part of the reason I brought Matt is Matt was fire chief from Friendship. He was one of the ones that, they were the ones that hosted it, and one of the first persons I contacted and was willing to jump on board with it. I did talk to Pete Hopkins. A lot of you know his mom. Pete's the chief down in Wiscoy. They got 4 members that took the training at the time, and they've added 2 more juniors since then. So they've seen an increase there. Again, I'll let Matt talk about how it's been productive within their department.
We've gained 4 new volunteers out of it, 4 juniors. We have several at the school that still want to join. So it's definitely helped us. We had no juniors at all before this camp. I believe Clarksville's got some out of it. So it definitely, the number of kids that were at this camp have joined departments already. It was definitely a good training for them. Learn a little bit about all the aspects of firefighting.
Steve?
Oh,
Or-
who
provides
Yes.
their turnout gear?
Friendship Fire Department, we just provided them with the gear that we had on hand.
So your fire departments buy the gear. There's no grants out there for these kids because it's obviously mostly
Yeah,
smaller.
there's no grants for the gear, or we have to provide insurance. Anyone that's under the age of 16, the fire department has to provide insurance coverage for them.
I know myself and legislator Demick were really thrilled, to say the least, to be a part of that. And you can definitely count on my time again this year and my financial support. Thank you, it was great. Thanks to everybody that was involved.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mr. Healy.
thank you to everybody also. How are we getting this word out? Are we putting this on to Facebook as video? Or perhaps we could get some news coverage from 247, the local, or whatever the local stations would be. I don't know if you have done that or not. I haven't seen it myself, but if we haven't, that'd be a good idea, I think, and get the word out to everybody.
Yes, obviously we did a lot of advertising before. We've shared this out with all the fire departments as well. And there was, Wellsville Sun, I believe, did an article, and the Cuba Patriot did an article at the time that the video was released. So yeah, the Allegheny leadership took care of a lot of that, and like I said, we've shared it out since then. It was just kind of a reminder that we'd like to do this again in the coming year.
I meant the video or something like
Yes.
that. I think
Mrs. Hanchett.
Great program. Love the video. I don't know if you thought about it, but I know BOCES in the past and probably still do a career day. And that would probably be a great opportunity to have them go through that when they're visiting there, to work that in. And maybe they've changed how they've done it in the past, but.
Right. Yes, we're working with BOCES at the EMT program continuously for like the last 6 months. I met with them again on Monday. It's still, Legislator Ricketts could help us with some with it, but it's still a possible go. There's some concern about funding, but they did send some information out and they got a positive response back from the schools. So it sounds like there's students interested in the program, which helps towards the funding, obviously, to guarantee that, so.
And I was talking about the career day.
Yes.
When they bring all of them, it would be a perfect opportunity to hit all the schools if you could get it in. So I know they work with them, but that is something that might help for
Yeah,
that age group.
It was just the EMT program, I wanted to touch on that too, it was on my agenda to touch, so I thought I'd lead into it. So, and also, even the last time we talked to them, as we look for additional hours, we're trying to get the firefighting side into that class as well.
Okay.
I forgot to thank Tamara Pete. She was very instrumental to this. If you know Tamara, she's like a dog on a bone. You give her something to do and just consider it done. So thank you, Tamara.
Also, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Leadership Allegheny, which this was the brainchild thereof. So a terrific program. I look forward to seeing this repeated annually. I think this is something that we've needed to get volunteers for our services like fire and EMT and so forth are desperately needed. This is a good move, and I thank you all very much.
Chairman Hady, I did want to also thank
Yes, ma'am.
Leadership Allegheny, because my understanding was this was their main project for the year, that they initiated this, and that we did a lot of help making this possible, but that it was really their project that we hope to move forward in future years. But I think they did a lot of the work to start it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, we've mentioned that all along. That was all, it was a team of 4 of them and myself that did it, but they came up with the ideas, they did all the background work, they did the registration, the fundraising like that. My task was to gather experts and arrange for locations and stuff. Just a reminder too, they did leave $1,200 back in December to the Public Safety Committee to continue this on. So it's a seed money for a future program coming up, probably in the fall again.
Excellent. Okay, any other questions on the video or the program? Okay. You want to do your report, sir?
Yeah. I know we're behind time, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Again, I did mention the BOCES, we are working with them. Red Cross, we did, the question about the sheltering and stuff, we did meet under Chris's guidance there. We met with Chris and DSS, and we've also reached out to Red Cross. Have a meeting with them next week, but I've already updated all the sheltering places so they could review that. So that was the next meeting for my part, is for them to review all the sheltering places to make sure all the contracts are up to date. The other thing I listed on here before was the property tax exemption. I thought I would have more information to bring to this board about it. What it is that back in December, Kathy Hochul signed a bill that there's a possibility of a 10% assessment reduction for volunteers, fire and EMS, on your property tax for your primary residence. The FASNY had a good article on it, which I was part of, and they also just last week had a video that described it more and was coming out with some documentation as far as actually how to file for that. I didn't get that till yesterday, so I haven't taken it to our county lawyer. But it's nothing we have to act on right now, but I just want to make you aware of it. There are some counties, I believe there was 30 counties or so that originally had something similar. So as you see your press releases, I think those ones had just had to adopt the new program. But there's lots of options and variables. And again, I like to discuss it with our county attorney and take recommendations off there, but I do have some documented forms for them to look at and see what would be the benefits of it. Right now, the one thing is that it's 10% off, and you have to provide that each taxing district, so the county, the town, the village, or fire commissioners would have to each one adopt it. So I thought we could kind of be a lead of a program, adoption kind of information sharing in regards to that. But and then the individual fireman would have to apply. There is a cutoff date of March 1st to get anything for 2020, well, the fall of 23 and 24. And obviously we can't meet that. So it's not a rush right now. We can have time to look at it and provide something a little more detailed, but I wanted to make you aware of it in case you're questioned about it, because it is kind of popular in the news at this time.
Okay. Any questions on Jeff's report?
The other thing I want to report on is, of course, that Bonnie's been appointed as the EMS coordinator.
Congratulations, Bonnie.
We do have, at Alfred, we do have the 5 students. Paramedic, we have 9 students in that class, and our EMT has 19. So we've got a good, strong EMT class for this fall coming up. And that was all that I really had on my report itself. I do have that request to fill position because of Bonnie moving into that position, there is an opening for the assistant director.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this?
Healy will move it.
Thank you, Mr. Healy. And a second? Mr. Barnes. Okay, any discussion on this?
I would just like to point out that this includes any backfills, so if they were to promote up, that we could backfill that lower position, and that's listed on the form as well.
Excellent, thank you. Any other comments, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Sear.
ADA Jones sends his best regards. Unfortunately, he will not be here today. He's recovering from a shoulder surgery, and we wish him well and a fast recovery.
Oh, yes, absolutely. All right. Moving on. Mr. Scott Granatier, Probation Director. Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, hey.
Hello, everybody.
As nice as we can be. How are you?
All right. I'll just go over briefly the previously submitted monthly report for our first month of 2023 already. And numbers across the board are pretty steady with slight increases in some of the workloads, specifically pretrial release continues to be one of our busiest programs with the highest workload. You know, and any questions that you have on that report?
Okay. Anybody have a question for Mr. Granatier? Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we skip to request for budget transfer, or do you have something else you'd like to cover first?
Well, just give a couple updates we filled one probation officer trainee position with a start date of the 30th, which was Monday. And we are currently conducting interviews for the senior account clerk position and made a provisional offer to an individual. We're anxious to get these positions filled and get back up to full staff. We have there is one request to fill position for a probation officer trainee. This follows a resignation effective today. I would look for your approval and consideration of that position to be filled.
Okay. Let's do that one first. Probation officer trainee. I'd like to have a motion.
Stock and move.
Thank you, Mr. Stockton. A second.
Sear will second.
Mr. Sear, thank you. Any discussion on this one? All in favor, say aye. Ooh, excuse me, Mr. Barnes had a question. I apologize,
Just
Mr.
a quick
Barnes.
question. What kind of background do you require for that position?
Probation officer trainee, bachelor's degree in social services. We've had historically many people from various backgrounds become probation officers. It's a very varied position with a lot of different skill sets. So people who have come from a business background have melded well and be great probation officers, as well as people with more of a psychology or a criminal justice background. But there's a lot of training involved once they are hired and appointed. So it's a very long learning curve, but there's no definitive background.
How long does it take to bring them up to speed?
I would say with the current training requirements, it's a good year before they're well-grounded. I think we've, with our current circumstances locally in Allegheny County, we've really expedited that pace. We have recent hire probation officers doing some advanced work, actually, and I think that speaks more to the culture we have. Our staff development internally, we've been able to get them up to speed very quickly.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions on this position? I'm going to call for that vote one more time in case there's new information that you may have been given during that discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Now, we have a budget transfer.
Yes, this in prior meetings, I've discussed the opportunity at Alfred State College for the Basic Peace Officer Academy. That's an opportunity starting in May. This is a new requirement from the state of New York for all peace officers to complete approximately a 5-week course. And the cost, although it's substantial, we are going to be sending potentially 4 candidates or cadets to this academy. And we have had the opportunity with the DCGS funding through the grant of in October. We're looking to take a chunk of that money and dedicate that into our training budget to accommodate and take advantage of this opportunity. So we're looking to move those funds.
All right, very good. A motion, please.
Demico move.
Thank you.
Sear second.
Thank you. Discussion.
Question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Healy.
That's actually far less than it would cost us to send them, obviously, to Albany or someplace, correct?
Yes, lodging for 4 individuals, I kind of did some rough math, and it would be double that had we had to incur lodging expenses and travel.
So our thanks to you and to Alfred State. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple updates, some other basic things, attending the COPA Council of Probation Administrators meetings, getting good information on what's coming at us in 2023, and have had good meetings with the Sheriff Cicerella and Sheriff Backney. Looking forward to continuing collaboration with them and training and other similar operations we share in the community. We've held the ATI meeting at the Probation Department on the 25th, which was another good session with a lot of stakeholders in public safety for Allegheny County. We hope to grow that meeting as quickly as possible. That's a quarterly meeting, and we hope to be able to they have a full table next time in May. 2 big updates, the OVW DV program update, that is the one with the CORD for the domestic violence program. Continue to work with the CORD and getting the best foundation for that program moving forward. It's, again, a little bit heavier lift than I thought initially, but we'll get there. I'm confident. And also with, as Mr. Perkins had mentioned in the opening of the meeting today, with the Stop DWI transition, we are having consistent and ongoing productive meetings into making that transition as smooth as possible. We have set that target date of May 1st, and it's in consideration in communication with County Administrator Kristen Knapp. And I guess my approach is I want to be methodical as possible, but as efficiently as possible. And we do this right once. There's several steps and pieces to this program that I think we need to get our good grasp on to make it as efficient as possible. So I'll continue to keep you updated on that. That was a mouthful to say that.
That's okay. That's appreciated.
And the last thing, we're our department is very, with all the changes in criminal justice services in New York State and all the changes in local justice courts and clerks within our jurisdictions in Allegheny County, we're making a real effort to attend those monthly magistrates meetings to make sure that we're all in sync with each other as we move forward here. So that's something I'll continue to keep you updated on as well.
Super.
Mr. Grantier, I wanted to congratulate you on the changes and improvements you made. I kind of thought it was slick, your new boardroom you made. So if anybody doesn't know, Scott kept his own cubicle for an office, and he took the recent probation officer's office, and it was large enough to make a conference room, and it turned out real nice. It's a great place to meet.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a great training. It's a training resource as we move through these transitions with new people and new skills we're learning. We can do it through distance learning. We got a great team down there. We're making full use of it. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for your team and your hard work.
Thank you.
Super. Thanks. Mr. Gilbert Green, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nothing near as complicated as Scott had, but I do have to double my miles. I did my fuel sample pickup after I turned in my report, so. Other than that, what you see is what you got.
Okay.
I'm impressed. We got 20 seconds out of you.
Anybody have any questions to keep him talking longer?
I can talk all afternoon if you want, but we're running behind anyways.
Nothing else?
Next month.
All right. Mr. Green, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
We have Mr. Scott Cicerello, Sheriff. Welcome, Sheriff.
I previously submitted all my reports. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Anybody? Must have been very clear.
Must be. There is one thing on my summary that I'd just like to discuss publicly. This is something that Chairman Havey and I have been in discussions with over the past 6 months to a year, I would say. Just want to read what I had as a summary. Subsequent to us receiving a National Homeland Security grant, the Sheriff's Office has begun the process of creating a threat assessment management team. The TAM team is a multidisciplinary team that brings together law enforcement, mental health professionals, school officials, and other community stakeholders to identify, assess, and manage threats of targeted violence. A report concerning behavior by an individual would be received by this team. The team would gather additional information, assess the risk of potential violence, and then develop intervention and management strategies to mitigate the risk of violence an individual displaying the concerning behavior may pose. Other areas will be utilized by this grant are active shooter training for law enforcement and for civilians. We recognize the community concern in this area, and we've been working hard with members of the legislature and members of the community to make this a reality. So just wanted to publicly express that this is something that we've been working on for a very long time, and it's finally coming to fruition.
It's outstanding. As you know, I'm a big fan of this, so I want to thank you for your progress on this. We look forward to getting this implemented and making progress. Thank you.
You're welcome. If there's nothing further, we do have a couple of RFPs.
Okay. There is one thing. I noticed that you didn't mention it, but I want to bring up the event on April 4th.
Sure.
On page number 2. The Allegheny County Sheriff's Office will host an awards ceremony at Genesee Valley School to honor our employees who have gone above and beyond their roles in our office. If you'd explain that just a little bit for the group.
Sure. This is something we've been talking about for quite some time at the Sheriff's Office. What we're looking to do is just recognize officers and employees who've gone above and beyond. And officers that really elevated the professionalism and the perception of our office. So we're looking to gather on April 4th at the Genesee Valley School to have an official award ceremony. We're going to recognize Corrections Officer of the Year, Deputy of the Year, Field Training Officer of the Year, Life Saving Award, Supervisor of the Year, Emergency Services Dispatcher of the Year, Civilian Employee of the Year, an Excellence in Training Award, and the first ever Sheriff Rick Whitney Exceptional Service Award. So we're looking forward to this. It's something that we've wanted to do for quite some time, and we're finally making this a reality.
Yeah, that's outstanding. One more thing before I let you get away from your report here. I notice that you're having discussions with the State Commission of Corrections to explore the possibility of housing juvenile offenders, which I think is a huge step in the right direction. If you'd care to talk a little bit about that.
It really is. We're really having a problem, and I think that if we had Jess McKnight from probation and Scott Granatier speak on the issue, they'd have the same concerns that we do. There aren't enough juvenile facilities across the state to house adolescent offenders. And we've been in a position recently where, I'll just give you an example, that we had a person that was designated to a facility, and the only opening was in Westchester County. So as you can imagine, we have to send 2 officers to transport to Westchester County, then back, and then we have to go pick them up and bring them back for court appearances. And in between, this individual had to be assessed at the University of Rochester Strong Memorial Hospital, to which we then had to go to Westchester County, take them to Monroe County, sit with them until they were finished being assessed, and then back to Westchester County. And then the last hurdle we ran into is that once we came back for a court appearance, we were informed that Westchester County wouldn't accept us back because they had a procedure where if they had someone local from within Westchester County that needed that particular bed, that we would lose the space, and that's exactly what happened. We were very fortunate that Supervising Probation Officer Jess McKnight was able to reach out to some contacts, and we were able to get him into a place up near Syracuse. So we have some space availability. We have some infrastructure within the Allegheny County Jail where we think we can make this a possibility. There's just a lot of strict requirements that the Commission of Correction and the Department for Youth require us to do to make sure that our incarcerated individual population does not mix with the juvenile population. So we're working on it. Jail Administrator Ivers has done a great job reaching out to commission members to figure out ways that we can make this happen. We are making progress. I'm hoping in the next month or two we might have something of note to offer.
Outstanding. Any questions for the sheriff on his report?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Sheriff, can you tell me on average how many juvenile offenders annually need to be incarcerated here?
I only have 18 months at the sheriff's office, so I'll give you what my experience. I would say a half a dozen, roughly, in that time frame.
And by doing this, we could also house in juveniles?
There's two ways we could do it. We could do an emergency function where we have a designated space that's not really in totality for bringing in multiple people. It'd be like for one person for emergency circumstances. Like yesterday, we had a situation where we were looking for housing. Or we can look at the broader idea of the possibility of housing in, and which is a conversation that I think is important to have as well.
So you're exploring all the options?
We are, absolutely.
Thank you.
Excellent. Mrs. Root?
I just want to go back to your report on the April 4th.
Sure.
I mean, it sounds like a great day. You don't have a time on there. Is this going to be during the day, and is this open to the public?
It's going to be 5 p.m., and I had not thought of opening it to the public, but I don't see a reason why not. We should have enough space, I think.
Okay. Other questions? Okay. I think we have a couple of, or maybe 3 requests to fills that we can do.
Yes, sir. The first position to fill is a deputy sheriff position that's currently vacant.
That's moved by Seer.
Okay, and a second?
Demick will second.
Thank you, Mr. Demick. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried.
Thank
What's
you, sir.
next?
The next one is to fill a vacancy that has recently been created, and it's for corrections officer.
Okay, looking for a motion.
Demick will move.
Thank you.
Stockton support.
Thank you. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. And
The
lastly?
last is to create, to fill 6 part-time dispatcher positions.
Okay, a motion.
Seer will move that, and I'll say I'm glad to say that you can finally create them, because I know we were not in a situation to do that.
Healy will second that.
Healy will second that. Okay, other discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
Yes, sir.
can you find enough applicants for that?
There you are.
We are very fortunate that we've had multiple people express interest. That's why we're doing this. We think that we can fill these. Yep.
And you're not creating new positions. These already all exist. We're just filling them.
That's my understanding, correct, Andy? Yes.
Okay.
And we addressed some of the issues that would make it more attractive, isn't that correct?
You certainly have when we got this new contract with the increase in pay, and the schedule has made it much more attractive.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you to all.
Okay. Other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, now, I've been asked to have an executive session to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. And I'd like a motion for that, please.
So move, Stockton.
And a second. And a second. Help me out here.
Seer will move that.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are in executive session.